Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message. The translation, it reads like this. When my mom got cancer, we then started looking around. There was this other church, a white garment church in our community. My father was the one who went and spoke with the guy at his house. There were a lot of people that used to go there for their healing. And then that was when my dad was told by that same prophet that he knew another traditional healer from the village where he came from. He went with us to his country in Chipinge. But the problem is that even though my mom was healed, all of our kids that we are giving birth to, they are disabled. You see, hey, sometimes as a black person, you go through things that don't make sense until you look back and then you start to connect the dots. That is my life. That's my family's story. It is really twisted and sometimes I get so tired, exhausted in my mind, and I feel like I cannot go on like this. It is very hard to take care of a child that has a learning disability. And I am tired of pretending like it is normal. We do go for therapies with the kids, but I can't take it anymore. Please keep me as anonymous. I'm South African. I was born and bred in Davidton. My mom, she used to be a cleaner. She was working at a government clinic in town. So my mom, she was someone that was a Christian, a very strong woman, and she was always happy that at least she was working, she was able to put food on the table. But as for us, the kids, sometimes it will get so hard seeing other children out there as they will be enjoying. And at our home, food was always scarce. This made me to start dating at a very young age, not only dating. The guy that I was dating, he was a gangster. So he would take me and I would go with him to the taverns. And as for my mom, she never wanted me to do that. But then in 2014, even though my mom, she was okay, but there were things that were happening to her that we could not understand. She was always sick, always complaining that she was feeling weak. We thought that maybe it was just fatigue, as since she was someone that was always working, never resting, because she would go and do some piece jobs at some houses that belonged to some white people as a domestic worker. This she used to do either from Friday, Saturday, even Sunday. She never rested, only here and there when she would get time, when things are a little bit better at home, when there was food, then she would go to church on Sunday. And she started coughing, like whenever she would be coughing, it would be blood. So immediately we thought that it was TB, since she was working in that type of an environment where she would meet with people that are sick all the times. We thought it was TB. We then took her to the doctor, and the doctor unfortunately said it was cancer, stage 4. It hit us hard, but what confused us was how fast it got bad. Within 2 months, she lost weight, could not walk, could not even remember our names anymore. She was very forgetful of everything. One day, whilst I was bathing her, my little sister saw something scary. Underneath her armpit, there was this long line, like a cut, as if someone had cut her with a razor blade. It was so fresh, like she had been sliced recently. Yet she had not gone anywhere. The next day, there was a different mark on her back. That was when we knew that this was not normal. This was not normal cancer. My dad as well, he had returned back from the province where he was staying, because that was the type of a relationship that they had. They would separate and my dad would move back to the province where he was born. When we told my father that this was what was happening to mom, he came and then he started asking around. And as he was asking around, that was when he said one day when he was passing through this other white garment church, he went there, they welcomed him. Later on, the prophet told him to come to the place where he was staying. My dad went there and he saw that there was a long line of people that were waiting in queue. So he spoke with that prophet, and the prophet said to him, "You guys are wasting time. This is not just sickness. You have to be helped." He knew someone, a traditional healer, back in the village where he came from in his country. And that man was the one who connected us to the traditional healer. But we had to raise money to even think that my dad had to sell his car so that we can just afford to go to Zim. We went there because that man said with the way that my mom was so sick, there was no time for us to go and apply for our passports. We just went there without passports or anything on the bus with him, since he did not have a passport as well. We traveled to his village. When we arrived there, we stayed at his home. Then we went to the powerful traditional healer. The traditional healer said that my mom, what was affecting her was that she has not eaten for many days. So that was the first challenge that she wanted to deal with. She gave my mom some porridge, like porridge, but made of sorghum. And then my mom started vomiting. And when she vomited, we saw that there were things that were moving. And these things, they were quite hairy. And then my mom, she started speaking. Even though when we went with her, she was unable to talk. We were even scared that she will even die on the bus. That was when the traditional healer said, "You ate something at work, and that person who gave you food, that person is the one who bewitched you." We were in shock. And my mom even said that indeed there was one of her co-workers who did not like her at all, and she was always suspectful that maybe the woman wanted to get him fired. And after that, when my mom was okay, then after she had rested and she was able to talk, even to walk on her own, but she was not yet that strong, we were taken to a small kraal. There was a goat that was tied to a tree, like Mpepo. Smoke was everywhere. I don't know if that is what they call it in their country, but I recognized it as Mpepo. Then that was when that traditional healer started speaking with my mother's ancestors, and we were given blood, and we were told that this was the blood of a goat that had been killed. So we drank that goat's blood. It was warm. And we were told that this was the only way that we could help my mom to find her strength as quickly as possible. Then after that, there was a second goat that was brought. The other one that we had found, it was taken out. And then the second goat, they said it was for a sacrifice. My mom was the one that was supposed to die. But this goat that they had brought, it was going to stand in her place as the sacrifice. Then it was placed in the middle of a circle. We sat down, and then we had some movements, like there was a lion that was growling. We were told not to worry. And then we felt something that was moving, that was inside the kraal. And then the goat started screaming, but there was nothing. Then we started seeing that there was something that was eating the goat, and it was invisible. Within minutes, it was dead. Ribs cracked open. There was blood all over the grass, and it was so scary. And then we were told that the thing that had been attacking my mother was now satisfied. We returned back to the rooms where we were sleeping. My mom got better. We came back home after about 2 weeks, and her cancer just left. They said that it was a mystery. We were so happy. We thanked her ancestors. Fast forward, life moved on. I met a guy, had a child. My baby girl came out crippled. The doctor said it was a birth defect, maybe from the alcohol that I drank during early pregnancy. I was hurt, but I took responsibility. Then my young sister, that's when things got so strange, had a baby. Same thing happened. When she gave birth, the boy was unable to move or do anything. And we thought that maybe it was genetic. We started thinking that maybe it was us. Third sister, same story. My other sister as well. All our kids, they are disabled, all from different baby daddies. None of us married proper. None of us had planned kids. So why were we all getting the same punishment? I used to cry a lot. I used to drink alone in the bathroom, blaming myself. Maybe it is the drinking, but I then stopped drinking. And then that was when I dated another guy. I gave birth again to a baby that has learning disabilities. That was when we went to another traditional healer here in South Africa. So we have been told that the things that we brought with us from Zim, those are the things that are making our babies that we give birth to have all of these disabilities. So we have been told to return back to that country. But now the problem is that we do not have money. We are not working. As for my mom, she is also not working. My dad, he got angry when he found out that I was pregnant and I was drinking as well when I was pregnant, and he said, count me out. So this is the situation that we are facing currently. We are looking for any kind of help. If you know anyone that is from that part of the world who might be able to assist us, please help us. It is not an easy thing to look after a child that has a disability. It is quite hectic, hey. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our admin who helped us with that translation. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. If you have any story that you want to share with us, please do not hesitate to come to my inbox and share with us your own side of the story.